Hey, hi everybody. Welcome back to another episode of The Odd Couple. I'm Arjun.
And I'm Dr. Sheesh.
What do you mean? And I am. That's all. I'm not there in this podcast.
And you say, and I'm also. Okay, let's do that again.
Welcome back to us. This is another episode of The Odd Couple. I'm Arjun.
I'm Siddharth.
And I'm Dr. Sheesh.
Batman.
Yeah.
Now, talking about Batman, dude, was that nepotism? The Wayne estate was left to.
Nepotism is like favoritism. Yeah. Which is now rocking the whole Bollywood scene. And actually, not now. It's been rocking for a very long time, but people have just decided to throw light on it now,
Exactly. Just think about it. Nepotism is all around us, right?
Yeah.
So you have the whole Wayne Manor just automatically going to this kid.
Yeah.
And you had Alfred like doting on him completely. Then you have go back to the planet Krypton. Superman's parents only chose their son to send away, not some poor kid's son to be shot out.
Yeah.
Right?
Complete
Now that is nepotism.
That's ultimate nepotism.
Yeah, and then think about religion, dude. I was just thinking the other day. We do not pray to any Tom, Dick, or Harry. We pray to, at least I do, to Lord Shiva's son Ganapati or Kartikeya or Murugan, which are son. Like even Jesus the Savior was a son of God.
Yeah, God didn't pick someone else and send him out. He picked his son and said, "You go."
So even nepotism was there too. And even if you look at Islam also, I guess the two houses, which is your Shia Sunni, is again branches of.
They were family, cousins and nephews and uncles, everyone. All the branches are all family.
Exactly, and that formed the different branches of that. So even that is nepotism.
Abraham, his kids.
Abraham and his kid, okay, fine. At least Abraham was trying to kill his kid. So I guess that discounts it a little bit. It wasn't exact nepotism until God intervened. So let's not give Abraham the due credit.
I don't know. I don't want to go till religion for us to talk about.
Why are you always scared about religion?
I'm not scared about religion because for me, religion is very, very personal to each person.
I agree, but I'm not saying this religion is right or wrong.
No.
I'm just talking about nepotism existing in every form that we consume.
Agreed. And I'm saying that I don't need to go to something as complex as religion because it's very complex. I can make it more simple in the fact that parents are all nepotistic. And it's hypocritic for any one of us to stand and say that we are not. Because as a father, I want my child to go through life in the easiest possible way without bearing the scars and the hardship which I went through or I perceive I went through. That is why we give our children whatever inheritance which we have, we pass it down to our child and not to somebody else. Now, as a father, and let's say my profession is being a doctor. Now, I come from a family where there's nobody who's a doctor. So, which means that I've struggled in this field far longer than somebody who knows the existing field. And now when I look back at my career, I think that if I had made a few changes in my life and done things a little different, I could have probably done it faster. So now if I have a child, am I going to pass that knowledge down to my child? I can't teach him how to fly a plane. I've not learned how to do it. I can't teach him to go build a bridge because I've not done that either. But I know how to become a doctor. So I'm going to teach my child that. And if my child is interested, I'm going to teach him that. If my child comes back and says, "No, Dad, I don't want to," obviously there's no point in me telling him to do that.
No, but that is parenting.
Yeah.
That is not nepotism.
That
right?
is nepotism.
Nepotism is basically favoring your blood over anybody else.
Correct.
And I think that is the whole thing. I think what you just mentioned was more of parenting. Obviously, we want the best for the kid. And yes, it is an offshoot of that. I agree.
Yeah, it is, because now the whole problem about the whole Bollywood scene is that, Bollywood kids whose parents are actors automatically get a movie. Yeah, because you know why? They know where the audition is, they know where the auditioner is, they know where the talent agent is, they know where everything is. There's like, son, you got to go to this acting school, get your degree from the acting school, go become an assistant director, learn the basics of acting. Now go inside and then start auditioning at this place. This person has a script. Life is made easier for that guy. That's why he gets the chance. Now, the other guy who's coming out from nowhere has no clue where to start from. So he goes and he gets some shitty photos done by some shitty guy who doesn't know how to take a photo itself in the first place. And then there are a lot of people who will scam this person, who will cheat this person, and it's an ugly world out there. And so that's where the whole thing of nepotism is coming in from. Na? So it's not parenting, it's just the what background you can give that person.
I understand that somebody whose father or mother was in a particular profession, obviously they have a game plan in place which is far more tried and tested, and then they pass on that knowledge to the kid, and the kid obviously will take the path of least resistance most often. But I think what the whole argument of nepotism is that it isn't about, oh, whatever the Chunky Pandey's daughter's name is, or let's say Tiger Shroff, or any of the, yes, Ananya Pandey. Now, all these kids, star kids, as you said, yes, it's not easy for them either. If they're good, they will perform and they will sustain. If they suck at acting or they're not great, then they're not going to survive. It's a ruthless world, anyways.
Exactly.
Yes, it's a slightly easier entry. Now, the issue over here of nepotism is on the basis of denying a talented person a chance over a known person. Now, that discrimination, that not giving the opportunity or lack of not getting that opportunity is where all the people are kind of crying foul.
Are we talking necessarily about nepotism in the entertainment industry? Because there's nepotism in the corporate workplace as well. There's nepotism almost everywhere, which is why also even when you do have equal platforms where, let's say a public examination or an examination that's made to be equal, but further steps are always nepotistic. People are always going to assist their own and ensure that some of their own community, own standing or family get a leg up in the process.
Obviously, let's take a family owned business. A family owned business is now automatically the son is going to come inside and sit over there. There's some hardworking executive over there who's put his blood and sweat in that company and might be a far better, CEO than this guy. But obviously, he's going to be denied this position and the son is going to get it. So it's there, but nobody's crying foul about that. For me, the point is nepotism is fair. It's an evolutionary thing. We've been doing it for ages and ages, and it's built in because you want your offspring to get the best they can, and it's built into that. There is nothing else in it. Now, the point which Sidhu made, where some will make it, some will break it. Now, if you look at it, like you take Abhishek Bachchan itself, he is a classic example of a star kid who came. His early career ran on the stardom which he had of just being the son of an actor. But he did a few movies, and after which people forgot about that, and his acting skills were not great enough, or he didn't leave such a lasting impression that he could make a career out of it.
No, I think he's done a lot of good movies. I mean, decent movies, but he would have never made it. He's Amitabh Bachchan's son. There's no way he would have surpassed Amitabh Bachchan's caliber. But something, if you look at the Malayalam industry, I think there's a very rare case is Dulquer Salman, if at all, where the father's a superstar, which is Mammootty.
Yeah.
And then you have this kid who decided to, he didn't use any of his dad's contacts. He started at a very, very low budget movie that he and his little friends try and put together. I feel that he came up the hard way. And that is the level that he's reached today is because of that.
That's the point which we're trying to make here, Sidhu, which is, what, it doesn't matter where you come from. At the end of the day, if you don't have substance, the world will chew you and spit you out. So the problem with the whole crying of nepotism is not the privileged and the underprivileged. It's always the insider and the outsider. It's like you want to get into the clan, right? My whole take is, if you really want something, you're going to have to work really hard and figure out how you're going to get.
I think the pressure for a star kid to perform is way higher, or the fear of failure is way higher for a star kid because they're already at the shadow of a great dad or mom. And constant limelight, probably it's normalcy for them, but I'm sure it's not easy. But at the same time, denying an opportunity based on being the inner circle is where a lot of people are crying foul and saying it's not fair. Hello, guys, life is not fair. Nothing has come easy for anybody. Everybody's got screwed, whether you've been famous or infamous or just an ordinary person.
Let's take Dhirubhai Ambani. Who gave Dhirubhai Ambani anything? Nobody gave him anything. He had to go stand there, take it for himself. And now his two children are reaping the benefit of what he did. Now, do these two children deserve what he made? Obviously, they didn't do anything to get it. But then you have both the sons. Both were given equally. One son is a superstar, super hardcore businessman, and is one of the richest people in the world.
With horrible taste in a house. Yeah.
Maybe. Yes, I agree with you. And we have another son who's blown it all away. So it doesn't matter what, at the end of the day, you can be given, but if you're not talented, you're not going to keep it. So that's as simple as what it is for me, is that you can all cry foul, but the world is not fair. It's hard. And even where they come from, it's dark. At least we have the liberty to be in pain without people seeing us all the time, 24/7 paparazzi on us. They can't even be depressed without the paparazzi being there. They can't, their whole life is under the limelight. So, they have their struggles, we have our struggles. And the problem is that, we are constantly just looking at the opposite person and trying to put the blame on somebody else. Maybe the problem lies with us. Maybe we are not hardworking enough. Maybe we are not strong enough mentally to deal with this pressure. For you to be a diamond in among the rock, you really have to be hard. You cannot be like soft and say, oh, life is just going to come easy to me. No, it's not going to. You got to be hard.
Dr. Sheesh, I agree with you in that aspect. Yes, okay. It doesn't matter where you come from, you still have to make it. But it still doesn't discount the fact that nepotism still gives people opportunities far more easier than it's afforded to an armed army. Whether that guy does something with it or not is not my concern. My concern looking at that world is you've got into this world because of who you are. I have to break that ceiling to get into that world. What is chosen to done with it is not my problem. I will resent the fact that I can't break into the world. I can't get the opportunity.
The issue which Arjun is saying is that a mediocre star child will do far better than a brilliant actor who's never got an opportunity itself. That is where the everybody is feeling that nepotism is bad. Even in the corporate sector, there are enough duffers in the corporate world that we've worked and witnessed with our friends working in, where just that the MD's son, he's absolutely useless. He's just running on the vapors or the fumes of his father's legacy, but not beyond that. Unfortunately, this whole system that's been built around, and that is the problem. Now, once that particular system is built, once that work culture, it kind of seeps into the work culture also. So suddenly you have that owners, sisters, grandfathers, foster brother's son given, I mean, as weird a connection like that, he will be given some posting or promotion just because he's related.
But you can't run a business like that where you have a duffer keeping on being promoted and promoted. Ultimately, at one point of day,
You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised the number of businesses that are out there. Proprietor run businesses out there which are run purely on this whole system and the whole work cultures around it. A lot of, I'm not saying all proprietor run businesses are bad, but it leads to a lot of opportunity of corruption or bad HR practices. It just becomes a weird working environment. I'm not saying it is because of nepotism. I think we're diverting, but it is an offshoot of a nepotistic attitude.
let's get back to this nepotism angle of it. We are a nation which is rooted in nepotism. Our basic caste system, what is the Varana caste system, or
It's Varnas. So there are four castes, right? Or the four things. So you have the Shudras, which is the lowest. Then you have the Vaishyas, which is the business people. Then you have the Kshatriyas, which is the warrior clan. And then you have the Brahmins, which are the obvious learned priestly class, as we call it. Now, over there, it is not nepotism. Over there, it is based on the kind of work that particular person does. So it is follows a channel of okay, a priestly class will become priests, warrior class will become warriors, and so on and so forth.
so correct. So now the actor class will be actors, the doctor class will be doctors, the engineer class will be engineers, and the kids who want to get into one of these jobs will always feel as an
It's
outcast.
still a form of nepotism. What if I'm a kick? What if I'm a Shudra who wants to be a warrior?
That's perfectly fine. But listen, nepotism is father son, or there's a lineage to it, right? Now, caste system, everything everybody agrees is a pure evil thing, which shackle people to follow that particular thing.
I don't think at that time it was considered as a evil thing. See, one time's evil is another time's great. I'm just saying at that period of time they saw that the easier way for them to create, the warrior, the hunter class or whatever is, you have your clan, you teach your children and you pass it down, right? The Brahmins were doing that. And then until later, you get this whole population divide where there's so many people on the outside looking onto the inside and saying, no, I want to be hunter.
I agree that caste system initially wasn't considered bad, or it was, but it kind of mutated into that because we as a human species are inherently selfish and cruel.
Exactly.
And that whole wanting to be superior over another person or a clan was what led to this whole caste system going fucking crazy. And even if it was a good idea, I never think it is a good idea. I don't know if it is ever was a good idea. I know Lord Krishna thought it was the best idea in the world and he constantly believed in it. But again, nepotism isn't that. What is nepotism? It is a king.
Correct.
Only a king's son will become the next king, right? It's not his ministers.
Correct, Sidhu.
So it has nothing to do with caste system.
No, I'm just saying that it's the same type of thing, which is in the sense that you have actors who make their children actors because they know it's a good life, it's an easy life, money is great. Obviously, you're going to make your child an actor. Are you going to make your child something else? Every person aspires to be an actor. You're in the limelight, you're famous. The problem with that field is that it's so closed because you're obviously not going to make your son an engineer or a doctor now because the demand is so much. The number of people waiting on the outside to become it are also growing. And when that grows is when you start having this imbalance of, it's not fair because the outsiders have become a lot more. And that's the same with any kingdom where, only a king's son can be a prince and it becomes a lineage, it becomes a dynasty kind of thing, which is happening until the whole people start revolting, saying, what, this is unfair. When is my chance going to be? That, how will I ever become a king? We gave your father because he was deserving, but now you're holding on to it. You're not doing anything good. So it's always like what you said, everything gets mutated at one point of time. There is no constant state of thing. If that was there, then it's utopian. It's not going to be there because people are different. Now that's why I was telling Arjun that probably that's because we're in a capitalistic world. So what you want is socialism, where where it's like if you're socialistic, then there's no point in us discussing all this stuff, right? There's a role for a sewage cleaner there, go be a sewage cleaner. There's a role to be a professor there, go be a. So you're being allotted. So like in Krypton, right? Like how we started the show was about Superman. Krypton was like that, where they would make what they wanted. We want a warrior, go make a warrior. We want it. So you have no choice there. And will you accept that? You won't accept that also. So no human is ever happy with the status quo. We always want to push, keep pushing, and we want to do what we want to do. Right? So you will always have these outsiders, and these outsiders will always be unhappy. Instead of working harder and saying, I will not give up, I'm going to keep at it.
Or you realize that, hey, listen, this is not working out too well. Let me try some other profession. It's not that, oh, I only know how to act. Hello, go do something else. No, stop cribbing. Do something else. I'm sure you're not a one trick pony. None of us are one trick ponies. It's not that I wanted to become an event specialist or get into marketing. No, I wanted to become a fighter plane pilot. Now I realized quickly that I didn't have it. I remember very clearly how once I came back, I think I was in sixth standard or something like that, and I used to like playing cricket with my friends in the on the street back then, and I used to suck at it. Neither I was a good batsman, neither I was a good bowler. I was an okay fielder. So I was basically an average person, a kid who didn't do well in cricket. And then I had these friends who were really good. So one of the matches I had to score about 2 runs to win, and I got clean bowled to a very simple ball, and I felt so bad. And I came back home crying, telling my mom, you know what? Why am I not a good batsman? All look at Santosh, look at Saumya. All of them are such good batsmen. Why am I not good batsman? My mom told Siddharth, probably you just suck at it. It's fine.
Yeah.
You don't need to be good at everything. You're probably good at something which they are not. So suck it up, go have a bath, and come and have dinner. Stop crying. And I'm so glad she told me that day. A lot of people don't realize that they need to accept certain shortfalls of their own, accept it, and move on. A lot of people just dwell on it, cry foul, whatever it might be, and more important, blame people.
So nepotism being an excuse for your shortcomings. Because we already live in a place of nepotism, it is rampant, it is a prevalent to every degree. You can't be using that as an excuse for not rising above any station.
Correct. And I'm sure he's used that nepotism some point in his life. You'll see all these guys who come on roadies and everything, who'll say, Mera baap ye hai, mera this hai, ye, all that crap and everything. He can't get inside. When he can't get inside, he'll be like, you guys are clan, you guys are this, you guys are that. You can immediately the whole attitude changes.
And I'm 100% sure all these people who are crying foul on nepotism, once they make it big, they will become nepotistic.
Exactly.
And that is the truth of the matter.
Dr. Sheesh, what you were talking about that in a utopian society, Confucius believed in nepotism simply because in a utopian society it will provide stability and continuity because family or like minded family will provide stability and continuity. You will not have a random bad prince who's just wasting his father's legacy. It will continue to be a process. Needless to say, Confucius got a lot of shit for it, but he believed in filial piety. That was the word. Yeah. So basically, anyone who's complaining about nepotism, just suck it up and do your shit. This thing exists.
Absolutely. And that's what this podcast is all about, having conversations, understanding and listening to different points of view and coming to a consensus. If not a consensus, at least go away with a better understanding of the different angles or complicated viewpoints that might be there. Thank you so much for tuning into us. Do follow our Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter channels, which are there in the show notes. We would love to listen to your views on nepotism and other topics that we talk about. Until the next time, this is Siddharth.
This is Arjun.
And this is Dr. Sheesh. Goodbye.